The citizens of Lebanon have sealed the fate of candidates vying for 128 seats divided among 11 religious groups. The voting in the crisis-hit nation has closed. In the crisis-hit nation, power is divided according to a sectarian power-sharing system, while independent candidates hope to take on the ruling factions. Established parties are still expected to maintain a grip on power. So who are the main players in these elections? Hezbollah is currently Lebanon's most powerful faction. It was founded in 1982 by Iran's Revolutionary Guards. The Iran-backed group's political sway has expanded since 2018. In the last elections, together with its allies, Hezbollah won a parliamentary majority. Its influence over state affairs has surfaced in different ways, including through control of the health ministry. The second most important group is Amal. The Shiite movement is led by Nabi Berri, who has been the Speaker of Parliament since 1992. Berri has been one of Lebanon's most powerful figures since the civil war. Today, the Amal movement is the largest Shiite party in Parliament by a small margin. This brings us to the country's Sunni faction. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri's boycott has turned Sunni politics on its head. The Future movement, established by his father, has dominated Sunni politics for decades. But Hariri has decided to quit politics for good. This has left a vacuum in the country's Sunni leadership. Prime Minister Najib Mikati, another Sunni heavyweight and billionaire tycoon, is not running either. Another important party is the Free Patriotic Movement. It was founded by Maronite Christian politician Michel Aoun. The FPM has been the parliament's largest Christian bloc. Currently, the FPM is led by Aoun's son-in-law, Gebran Bassil. Washington imposed sanctions on Bassil in 2020, accusing him of corruption. However, Bassil called the sanctions unjust and politically motivated. Another key player in the Lebanese forces, it is led by Maronite Christian Samir Jizya. The LF is one of Hezbollah's biggest opponents. The LF has stayed out of government since 2019, when then Prime Minister Hariri quit during nationwide protests. The election is also being contested by a group of parties opposed to the traditional ruling elite. While some have run before, others are venturing into electoral politics for the first time. Despite months-long negotiations, the different groups were unable to unite or form a unified electoral platform or coalition to run at a nationwide level. Some districts even have multiple opposition coalitions running against each other. This further diminishes their chances of making a difference. Let's talk more about this Lebanon elections, and we are being joined by Ghadi Francis from Tripoli, Lebanon. Ghadi Francis, good to see you. The polls have closed. What's the latest at this hour?
Excuse me, Eric. Actually, I'm in Beirut. I'm sorry I didn't update you on that. Now, I reached the capital. We've been on the go all day in this special coverage for WION. Yes, the ballots have closed. Some minor problems happened all across Lebanon. Maybe 3 or 4 problems happened. You know, we have had in this country, we have witnessed special international committees that were monitoring the elections. A few problems happened here and there because of the nature of the competition. Actually, Gebran Bassil just had a fight between Lebanese forces supporters and his supporters in one of the areas in northern Lebanon, but it already passed. The ballots closed. Everybody's on their nerves now. As we talk, there are the special offices for each and every candidate, for each and every political party, following the count of the votes. Nothing big is expected in terms of change, but we are all looking forward to seeing the results, to seeing what this public anger that surfaced in Lebanon in year 2019 resulted in the ballot boxes. Proportionally, people were anticipating or expecting or fearing some violence, some problems, some clashes maybe, because throughout the whole history, the whole recent history of elections in Lebanon, we have witnessed in this country some clashes. Sometimes people die in clashes. So In comparison, it was somehow peaceful this time, since there are no armed clashes between the political party supporters here and there. In terms of percentage, Eric, we must say that it is relatively low. It didn't reach more than 50% plus or minus in all across the Lebanon. Some places it reached 60% voting, but some places maybe 20%. And this also can tell about the frustration of the Lebanese voters.
Ghadi Francis, when do we expect the announcements to be made of the victors in this election?
Usually, because Lebanon is such a small country, all the voters are around 3.9 million. So it doesn't really take a lot of time to count them. This is when we see each and every candidate's office. They are stating the results, but officially, according to the Ministry of Interior, we are used to witnessing the next day the official announcement of the numbers. But supposedly in about 1 hour or 2 hours since the ballot boxes closed, we start to hear from the campaigners, the people working with the candidates. We start to hear some results that are approximate, usually, according to the tradition. We must say that some areas, not a big change is expected. As I heard you in your introduction, actually the majority was won because the biggest Christian bloc was an ally to Hezbollah, which was the Free Patriotic Movement back in the last elections. And this time it is anticipated and expected that the Free Patriotic Movement would lose a little amount, some seats, and thus the Lebanese forces would gain, which is the anti-Hezbollah Christian part in Lebanon. And that is the changer of that so-called majority. But on the Shiite side, which is based on the sectarian system, it is where they count their presence. A little change is expected. Most of the Shia voters will and always vote pro the traditional Shia, Hezbollah, and Nabih Berri political parties.
Live from Beirut, Lebanon, our correspondent Ghadi Francis, thank you very much for that update today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.